your thing. That's fun. I like that. You know how long it takes to train a dolphin to do that? My name is Zachary McNaughton, and I am not a professional angler. I've been fishing for over 20 years, and the one thing that these years have taught me most is that I have a lot to learn. So let's meet some of Vermont's true master anglers, and together we'll discover some fishing techniques and explore the many species that this great state has to offer. Tell us where we're at today and what we're targeting.
We're on the inland sea, and we're targeting yellow perch. There's occasionally a smattering of white perch around, but we haven't seen any today. Oh, there's one. And we're using, light to medium weight rods. Oh, that's a decent perch too. That's a keeper right there.
That's a beauty.
But we're fishing suspended fish. They're about halfway down. We're about 60 feet of water, so these guys are between 20 and 40 feet. And I'm fishing a tandem rig. I got a pretty heavy tungsten jig head on the bottom, and then about a foot up from that, I've got a drop shot hook, and on that I have a little twitch minnow, which I need to fix right now. My line's wrapped around. But I've got a little barrel swivel that's keeping it from going down further on the line. And they're hitting both of them. On my tungsten jig, I got a little Mackie Jamie that's working really well, although it's getting trashed because we keep hammering these perch.
Baby Elliot. Yep.
Oh!
Nice.
That one?
Nice. Yeah, that might be a keeper. Oh, I just did it again.
All right, so
Ooh, look at this one.
oh, okay, so we're 2 on.
Soft plastics have been working really well. Spoons have been working really well. Well, this Jamie might be through. Yeah, that's pretty much done at this point. We'll see how it works. But it's pretty simple, and there's a lot of fish. You really need to have a Vexilar or some other flasher for this because the fish are suspended, and without having some form of sonar, you're not going to know where they're at, and you're not going to know where to get your jig to. You'll be fishing blind. There's definitely fish on the bottom. We've been catching fish, on the bottom as well. But the majority of the fish have been suspended, especially the bigger fish.
Yeah, and what would you say? They're about 25 feet over 50?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say they're between 20 and 35, 40. They're actually over 60 right now. We're over 60. It's a pretty simple setup. It's really comfortable. We had to turn the heater off because it got too warm in here. It's really fun fishing. It's video game fishing. We got something cruising up fast into that. There's a good bar coming up into there. It's kind of fun because you're watching your jig drop down to where the fish are at, and sometimes you'll actually see the fish, chase your jig, chase your rig, and other times, oh, there we go. Almost had a double. But it's pretty easy, as long as you've got the right gear. It's a lot of fun, and you could definitely fill buckets. We're only keeping the bigger fish, but we certainly could have filled a couple of buckets by this point. It's pretty early in the day still. Yeah, look at that. That's a pretty typical fish, and we're throwing these little guys like this back.
Goodness!
We're keeping that one. We're keeping that one.
That's a piggy! Oh, look at that. I got today's monster. That's a keeper.
Oh, I think I've got the new record for the day. I may have just broken my record again.
That's only, that's 12 and a half.
Look at this one.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That one choked that.
Double.
slow. Yeah, so just to back up on the fish finder, having the flasher, without that, this would be no way. I mean, we are very specifically seeing the fish on the screen and then dropping our lures just barely above them.
Yep.
And you would never know where they were, or and part of it too, I mean, like, obviously when you're this deep, you need to know where they are, but it's also the confidence, you know, like you can see if there are fish down there or not, and you just know that you're gonna get one, and that confidence, I think, plays a big role in that.
Oh, there's no question about it. You know, once you have a pretty good idea where the fish are, and it's like, okay, you know, it's not difficult. I've been out here though on days where the fish are here and they're just not playing. You know, so the perch bite can get kind of funky sometimes. I find it's best if you're right after a weather front rolling through, it's not usually that good. I find that if you're right at the middle of a weather front, like you got some sort of precipitation about to come in, that's when things really seem to turn on. But you know, we got a bluebird day today, and it's working out pretty nicely.
Yeah,
not complaining at all.
So what I'm using here, and this is really because it's what I have. I didn't have the same setup that Drew has, but I've got a Swedish Pimple here, and I'm just tipping mine with spikes. And so Drew's rig with the soft plastics, he's catching fish without spikes and pretty consistently. One thing I've noticed with this Swedish Pimple is if there's no spike on it today, I have not.
Oh, look at that!
The bite.
Look at that.
Double.
That's why you use the 2, because you can get a double like that.
That's all.
How many doubles have you had?
Yeah. Well, if you count when I had 2 rods out, maybe a couple times, but not on the same line. Yeah, so I'm tipping my treble hook here, and that's another thing to point out, honestly. This treble hook, we've caught so many fish, this treble hook has been a pain. So, if I were to come back out and do this, I would definitely switch this out to a single hook, because getting the hook out of the fish, you know, Drew's in the water twice as much as I am, because I'm, you know, trying to get trebles untangled from fish. So, that's definitely, there's no need for the treble hook in this situation. They are biting aggressively.
Although I have been using this lure. This is a Seville vibrato, which has been working really effectively. This is a hollow green. There's a number of different colors that work really well. But this is a great lure for pounding bottoms. This is though at the 17 gram. 14 gram vibrato. So it's good to go down and smash the bottom with it a few times, bring it up about a foot, and the fish have been on that. It also calls the fish in. So if you start just moving it up and down pretty good in the middle of the water column, the fish will usually swarm up to it too. So, but like this is one of those places. If you hit it right, there's really not much that you can do wrong. And I think I'll switch out to the vibrato just because.
That's nice. It's a long perch, actually. Might need to measure that one at the end.
Ultralight rods here are not the greatest because, you know, we're fishing pretty deep, and if you do end up fishing on the bottom, having a stiffer rod like a medium light or a medium. This is a medium I'm fishing the vibrato with. It definitely will help you with the hook set and the sensitivity to feel that fish.
And so what I've got for equipment today, I've got the 13 Fishing Tickle Stick. Drew actually turned me on to these, and what's unique about them is it's a round
pulled that one up a little quick.
It's a round blank until we get down to the last 4 guides, and then it actually turns into a flat blank, which basically is sort of like having a spring bobber. That end is just ultra sensitive.
Yep.
It bends right down. So with using the spikes, I'm not actively jigging, whereas Drew's doing a little more active fishing than I am. So I'm just getting my lure just above the fish. I'll jiggle it just a couple times to get their attention, and then I'm just sitting there and I'm watching that tip. And when I see that tip drop, just like that, then I'll set the hook and bring it up. So
yeah,
that's a nice thing. And you can see how sensitive this rod tip is. So that's a really good indicator for these size of fish. So there you have it.
Yeah. I've been using my Tickle stick. I really like the Tickle stick for the suspended fish because of that sensitivity, and you can really see the bite. But I actually really like to jig with it, and because it's so light, you can just kind of you don't have to move it a whole lot. You can just kind of wiggle it around a little bit, and it gives just enough motion to those soft plastics to get the fish excited.
As for line, I think I'm using Suffix Ice Fluoro. I believe that I have 6 pound tied on. What's your setup?
I'm using between 4 and 6. You don't need anything too special. It's definitely not. You don't need to go too light, and you don't need to go too heavy. And actually, you're better off with 4 to 6 pound, because there is a possibility of salmon and or whitefish in these same areas, or like really big. You get into a really big white perch, and it's definitely worth having something heavier on. Not that you can't land it on a lighter rig, but it's nice to have that confidence of being able to rip a fish up when you need to.
So if I were to go out just looking for yellow perch in whatever body of water is closest to me, what am I looking for to find them?
Honestly, I really only fish perch on Lake Champlain, so I don't know about any other body of water. But on Champlain, I like looking for flats, deeper water, and they seem to hold on those flats pretty well. So when you find flats that are in 40 to 70 feet of water, you typically are going to find perch. Like perch are everywhere, but they do seem to like to suspend, and they're chasing after schools of alewives, and maybe occasionally schools of smelt, but definitely alewives. They're barfing up alewives. They've been barfing up alewives, as you got the face splatter of one from a perch earlier.
Actually the amount of bait fish stuffed in these things' bellies as they're coming up is remarkable.
They're barfing them up all over the place, and it's these like little 2.5, 3 inch alewives. Give that a little chunk. There you go.
Is that me? No. Oh, I got a perch.
Oh, I got that on the upper one. Go Bulls! Not a bad perch.
Nope, not a bad perch.
It's going back, because at this point we're only keeping toads. Oh! Chunk.
Are you a quarter of the way down?
Yeah, oh shit. I don't know where I am, but I've got a fish on it. Ooh, too shabby. Thanks for watching this episode of Vermont Master Anglers. For more content, visit our Facebook page at Vermont Master Anglers. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe.